You don't notice it at first. Maybe you're taking the stairs a little slower. Maybe it's just a little harder to get out of your favorite chair. And maybe you tell yourself it's just normal aging, nothing to worry about. But slowly, silently, something terrifying is happening. Your legs are giving out, not overnight, not with warning, but gradually like a dimming light until one day, walking across the room feels like climbing a mountain. And for millions of seniors, this is more than just an inconvenience. It's the first step in losing their independence. Did you know that 1 in 4 adults over 65 fall every year? And the majority of those falls are directly linked to weakened leg muscles. Falls lead to hospital stays, surgeries, walkers, sometimes even permanent nursing care. It starts with weak legs. It ends with losing the life you once had. And here's the worst part. You've done everything right. You tried light exercises. You tried stretching. Maybe your doctor gave you a list of movements that felt impossible to follow. You took the supplements. You followed the advice. But nothing worked, not really. Take Jeanne, for example. A 72-year-old grandmother who used to love gardening. Now she watches from her porch because getting up and down from the ground leaves her knees screaming. In pain, she did her part, kept active, took her vitamins, but still, her strength kept slipping away. And she's not alone. The truth is, this isn't your fault. It's not laziness. It's not aging. It's something much simpler and far more overlooked. Because what if the problem isn't your willpower? What if the real reason your legs feel weaker every day isn't your effort at all, but the food on your plate? And what if just one change in your diet could start reversing it by tomorrow? For decades, we've been told the same tired story. Losing muscle is just part of getting old. Doctors say it. The news repeats it. Even your own body seems to agree. But here's the truth no one talks about. That story is a lie. Yes, muscle loss happens with age, but it's not unstoppable. And it's certainly not permanent. In fact, your muscles are still listening. Even in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, your body still knows how to build strength if you give it the right signals. Here's what science tells us. After age 60, your muscles become less responsive to weak signals. That means light exercise and protein alone aren't enough. It's like shouting into a storm. Your body can't hear the message. But certain foods can amplify that signal loud and clear. In a study from McMaster University in Canada, seniors aged 70 were able to double their leg strength in just a few weeks, simply by combining a specific amino acid-rich food with light daily movement. Not steroids, not expensive treatments, just food that speaks your body's language. And let's not forget David, an 81-year-old retired carpenter from Ohio. He thought his strength was gone for good. But after changing one thing in his breakfast, he noticed something shocking. Within 3 days, he stood up from his recliner without using his hands. For the first time in years. You see, it's not about your age, it's about the message you send your body. And if you've been sending the wrong one, that's not your fault. But now, it's time to change that story. Because your body's been waiting to respond. All it needs is the right cue. It sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? that eating one simple food could begin restoring strength to your legs in just 24 hours. But believe it or not, that's exactly what researchers began to discover, not in some hidden lab, but in clinical trials with real seniors, just like you. In one small study conducted in Japan, seniors between the ages of 68 and 82 were given a daily serving of a nutrient-dense, naturally occurring food, nothing exotic, nothing expensive. Within just one day, researchers recorded measurable increases in leg muscle activation and balance response. And after just 1 week, most participants reported less joint stiffness, more stability when standing, and reduced fear of falling. One of the participants, a 75-year-old woman named Mechiko, had been using a cane for over a year. After just 2 days of the new diet protocol, she told her nurse, "I don't know what's happening, but I feel like my legs are listening to me again." That sentence stayed with the team. My legs are listening to me again. Because that's exactly what this food seems to do. It reawakens your muscles, not with caffeine, not with chemicals, but by flooding your system with the one thing your body has been starving for. And no, it's not a supplement. It's not a pill. It's something you can buy at your local store and eat at your kitchen table. So the question is, if the turnaround can begin in just 24 hours, why hasn't anyone told you before? Well, the truth is coming, and soon you'll know what this food is and how to use it to take back your legs. You've heard it 1,000 times. Just move more. Do your leg lifts. Walk every day. And maybe you've tried. You followed the routines. Joined senior fitness classes. Even forced yourself through discomfort, but still, the results never came. Your legs still felt weak. Getting up from a chair was still a struggle. And some days, the effort just left you more sore, more tired, and more frustrated. Here's the truth. It's not the movement that's the problem, it's the missing fuel behind it. Think of your muscles like an engine. You can press the gas pedal all you want, but if there's no fuel in the tank, the car won't move. That's what happens when seniors try to exercise without the right nutrients. Your muscles aren't broken. They're just underfed and underactivated. Worse still, pushing yourself without that internal support can actually do more harm than good. It increases the risk of injury, inflammation, and burnout. That's why so many seniors give up, not because they're lazy, but because no one told them the full story. Take Harold. 78. He spent 3 months in physical therapy post-surgery. Every session felt like a battle. He said, then he changed what he was eating, just one new item each day. And suddenly, those same exercises started working. You don't need harder workouts. You need smarter fuel, the kind that switches your muscles back on. And that's exactly where we're headed next. Here's the part no one warns you about sometimes. It's not what you're missing. It's what you're eating every day that's quietly stealing your strength. You see, many seniors unknowingly rely on foods that feel safe or light. But these same foods are actually blocking the very muscle signals you're trying to activate. Let's look at a few. Low-fat yogurt or flavored oatmeal. These might sound healthy, but they're often packed with added sugar. And sugar? It causes inflammation in muscle tissue making it harder to rebuild or stay firm. White bread, crackers, and cereals. These refined carbs spike your blood sugar, then crash it, leaving your muscles starved for sustained energy. Plus, they lack the protein your legs desperately need. Processed deli meats and frozen meals. Convenient? Sure, but these are loaded with preservatives and sodium, which can worsen swelling in the legs and reduce circulation to things that cripple muscle recovery. Even heart-healthy drinks like diet soda have been shown to interfere with muscle metabolism in older adults. Take Irene, for example. She's 69, diabetic, and thought she was doing everything right: oatmeal for breakfast, turkey sandwich for lunch. But her legs kept feeling weaker. It wasn't until she cut the sugar and swapped her sandwich for a protein-packed whole food that she noticed the shift. By the end of the week, she said, I could finally walk to the mailbox without stopping. You don't need to overhaul your whole diet, but you do need to stop feeding the weakness. And now that you know the enemies, it's time to meet the food that helps you fight back. You've waited patiently. You've learned what's been working against you. And now it's time to meet the food that can start turning things around. In as little as 24 hours. It's not exotic. It's not expensive. In fact, you've probably walked past it in the grocery store without a second glance. The food is beetroot. Yes, beets, the deep red vegetable your grandmother might have pickled. Turns out, it holds the key to reactivating your leg strength. Here's why. Beets are packed with natural nitrates, a compound that, when digested, turns into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide opens up your blood vessels, improving circulation especially to your lower body. Muscles, where aging hits hardest. More blood flow means more oxygen. More oxygen means faster muscle response, better balance, and more strength where you need it most. In one study from the University of Exeter in the UK, seniors who drank beetroot juice experienced immediate improvements in muscle contraction speed, even in muscles that had been sluggish for years. But it's not just studies, it's real people. Take Edward, 76, who hadn't walked unaided since his knee surgery. His daughter read about beets, and they started blending a simple beetroot smoothie each morning. 3 days later, she said, he stood up from the couch without his walker, and he felt it too. It's like my legs finally remembered how to work again. Beets don't work by magic. They work by unlocking a signal your body already knows, just forgot how to hear. And here's the best part. You don't need to juice or cook them if you don't want to. You can find beetroot powder, roasted beet snacks, or even beet capsules affordable, safe, and easy to digest. So the question now isn't, can this work for you? It's, will you try it? Because your muscles are ready. They're listening. And beetroot might just be the thing they've been waiting to hear. Now that you know beetroot is the key, the next question is simple. How do you use it for real results? Here's the good news. This isn't complicated. If you want to feel stronger, more stable legs, start with 1 serving per day. That could be 1/2 cup of roasted beets, 1 glass of beetroot juice around 8 ounces, or 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder mixed into water, or a smoothie. And here's the part most people miss. Timing matters for best results. Consume your beetroot in the morning within the first hour of waking up. Why? Because this is when your body is most receptive to nitric oxide activation. It jumpstarts your circulation and gives your muscles the oxygen they need before you move around. If you take medications in the morning, don't worry. Beets are safe for most people, including those with diabetes or blood pressure issues, because they actually help regulate blood pressure naturally. That said, if you're on blood thinners or have kidney issues, speak to your doctor just to be safe. And no, you don't have to eat raw beets if you hate the taste. Many seniors prefer beetroot capsules or powder mixed with applesauce or yogurt. It's easy on the stomach and fast to absorb. Here's a tip. Pair it with a small source of healthy fat like a few almonds, or a spoonful of Greek yogurt to boost absorption and muscle recovery. Simple, safe, fast. Now that you know how to use it, let's hear from the people who already did and what happened when they did. Sometimes the best proof isn't in the studies, it's in the people. People who were just like you, tired, frustrated, running out of options. And then they tried one small change. Let me introduce you to Maria, age 74, a retired school teacher from Arizona. She hadn't gone on her morning walks in over a year. I used to go to blocks, she said. Then it became one. Then just the porch. Her daughter heard about beetroot and started adding half a cup of roasted beets to Maria's breakfast plate. On day 2, she called her daughter, crying, "I made it to the corner. I didn't have to stop. My knees didn't wobble." Then there's Sam, 81, a former postman from Michigan. After a hip replacement, he was told not to expect much more mobility, but he started adding beet powder to his smoothies every morning. By the end of the first week, he was back to his garden. "I hadn't touched my tools in months," he said, "but I was kneeling, pulling weeds like the old days." And don't forget Clara, 68. She didn't believe any of it at first, but she gave it a week. On day 3, she stood up without using her arms. By day 7, she climbed the stairs without stopping. Her exact words, "It was like I found the switch that turns your legs back on." These stories aren't miracles. They're not magic. They're simply what happens when the body is finally given what it's been asking for. Next, let's talk about what happens if you don't. Let's take a moment to look ahead. Not months from now, not years. Just a few weeks, if nothing changes. What happens if your legs keep feeling weaker? If stairs become harder? If standing becomes slower? The truth is, this is how it starts. First, you avoid outings. Then, you stop going for walks. Before long, even standing from a chair feels risky. And when the legs go, so does your independence. Studies show that seniors who lose lower body strength are 4 times more likely to experience falls. And falls are the #1 reason adults over 65 end up in long-term care. Not illness. Not memory loss. Weak legs. But here's what most people never realize. You don't wake up frail. You drift into it, one ignored signal at a time. You don't need a gym. You don't need a program. You don't even need a new doctor. You just need a decision, a fork, a single food that tells your muscles, "Wake up," It's time to work again. Because here's the alternative. More pain, more sitting. More help from others. When all you want is to move on your own. But if you've made it this far, then something in you already knows you're not done yet. And in the final chapter, we'll show you how to begin. Today, you've heard the stories. You've learned the science. And now, it's your turn. Let's keep it simple. Starting tomorrow morning, eat 1 serving of beetroot. That's it. Half a cup of cooked beets, or 1 glass of beetroot juice. Or 1 scoop of beet powder stirred into water. Do it first thing in the morning, before breakfast if possible. Then go about your day. Walk, stand, climb the stairs like you usually do. But pay attention to your balance, to your knees. To the way your legs respond when you stand. Because for thousands of seniors, something shifts within 24 hours, and for many more, the difference is undeniable by the end of the week. We call it the 24-hour challenge. Will you try it? And here's your bonus tip. After you eat your beetroot, spend just 5 minutes doing sit-to stands. No equipment, no weights. Just sit in a sturdy chair and stand up and sit back down. Do this gently. It tells your legs, we're back in business. Now, if this video helped you, help someone else. Share this with a friend, a parent, a grandparent. Leave a comment with your results. And don't forget to subscribe because we've got more life-changing tips coming soon. You're stronger than you think. Sometimes it just takes 1 bite to prove it.